Okay, I'm happy because I've been biting my tongue this whole time. I want to debate.
Sorry about
Okay.
that.
So do I.
Okay,
All
so
the time you need, Libby.
so you want data, and I don't think you know the data. You need to know the data. There is tons of data supporting the relationship between marijuana and opiates. And they are totally related. And you know, the industry likes to quote that first study that came out that said, oh, the opiate deaths decreased in the states that legalized marijuana. Well, that was the initial data. That has been replicated and expanded, and not only did it not decrease, it increased 22% in the states that legalized marijuana. And in Colorado, it is a definite, we have enough data to prove it, that the increased opiate overdose deaths just keep rising and rising and rising, and we have all the marijuana available. And so there's scientific studies looking at how the CB1 receptors and the opiate receptors are joined. They work together. And so there was a study done in aborted fetuses looking at their brains of women who were smoked marijuana during their pregnancy and the women that didn't, and they found that the opiate receptors were dramatically different in the babies exposed to marijuana. Now, we don't know what happened to those babies, but we do know in animal studies, in rat studies, if you give a pregnant rat cannabis, their offspring are more likely to press the lever for opiates. And so that data is out there. There's also data that it is a gateway drug. And it is, in my experience, in all the 20 years I've been doing this, in this treatment program, and I have yet to meet a person with heroin use disorder who was not smoking marijuana. And in fact, I have patients that tell me they're so sad that they live in Colorado because there's a dispensary on every corner, and they don't know how they're going to stay sober from heroin because they're going to relapse to marijuana, which will lead them back to heroin. They tell me this. I don't ask them that. And so that data is out there. And the other thing I do want to point out is, to me, the best thing that has happened from all this legalization is the research on cannabis and the discovery of the endocannabinoid system. And I think people need to understand that, because this is the problem. We did not know why people liked cannabis until the 1960s, when this lab in Israel started injecting cannabinoids into rhesus monkeys, and they discovered THC. And they said, oh my goodness, there's a receptor in the brain that THC fits right into, and they called it the cannabinoid receptor. I am so sad they ever called that, because that makes everybody thinks, oh, we have a God-given receptor in our brain that makes us supposed to smoke marijuana. It wasn't until the 1990s that that exact same lab discovered why we have those receptors. They discovered that our brain creates this drug that they named anandamide. Anandamide is a Sanskrit word for supreme joy. So this is our system in our brain that we use as a homeostatic system. It's a regulatory system that helps regulate us. It stabilizes us, stabilizes our mood. So anandamides are created in your brain when you need them. They're created locally, they're used locally, and they're destroyed immediately. And that's what the CB1 receptor is for anandamide. You put THC in that receptor, it sticks in there forever, and your anandamides can't work. And that's why I think we have mood dysregulation in people. And so if somebody is using chronic cannabinoids where the THC is stuck in the receptor, they're dysregulated, they're upset, they're angry, and their frontal lobe is off because marijuana takes off your frontal lobe. And so what do? I'm angry, I want to kill somebody, I want to kill myself. And I think that is how it is totally related to the increased risk of suicide that we're seeing, the increased risk of violence, because this is our own system that we are supposed to protect and take care of, and we're supposed to teach people about. And the endocannabinoid receptors in the brain during adolescence are responsible for determining pruning in the prefrontal motor cortex. And so if you put an exogenous source of marijuana, THC, in that receptor, you do not know what you're doing. And it is totally disrupting normal adolescent development. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Stuyt. I want to thank you for that. That was, a scientific description of, brain chemistry, brain activity, put in a way that I think, people who are non-scientists could understand. So thank you for that.